When I was around 10 years old, I asked my cousin what's going on, who died, and she told me the king of the pop. And that was it for me. I went on with my life until a month ago. I went to the cinema to watch the new Michael Jackson movie. And lo and behold, I'm obsessed with Michael Jackson. I went on a rabbit hole. I watched his interviews, his process, his philosophy, his way of living life, his essence, even. So, today I want to discuss with you the 5 lessons we can learn from Michael Jackson on becoming who you always meant to be in this lifetime. Because I think, from the way I perceive him, he's not just a good performer or a good artist. He was an exceptional artist and performer, don't get me wrong, but he was also a master of becoming who he always meant to be. When I say I am obsessed, I'm not kidding. I've been crying the past few days, grieving the fact that he died. I've been grieving a person like I haven't even met in my entire life. I wasn't even alive for most of his career. Like, guys, I am obsessed. Before we get into the video, if you don't know me, hi, my name is Chrisana. I'm a psychological life coach. Here we speak all about inner healing, self-development, and inner work. Welcome. If you've been here before, hi, welcome back. And yeah, let's get into the video. Okay, first lesson from Michael Jackson. He wasn't just a master of his craft. He wasn't just the best performer we have ever seen in this lifetime. He was also a master of self-concept. What do I mean by that? So, if you watch the movie like me, you've seen that he was writing a lot of affirmations and he would put them all around his house, his mirrors, in the studio, everywhere. He would also write who he would like to be. He would envision himself visualizing the life and the self he would like to live. So he would do all of those, somebody would call manifestation practices. I would also say that this is just us creating the life we want to live, fulfilling our fullest potential. And so he was so ahead of his time. I don't think back then it was so popularized, manifestation, spirituality, and all of those practices. And also identity reconstruction is at the top of the pyramid of the neurological levels of change. So it's basically the most important thing you need to change if you want to create a new life, if you want the career you always wanted, if you want to move abroad, if you want to get that partner, get your dream house, your dream car, anything, having a fulfilling community, creating your new self. This is what you need to do if you want to do that. You need to go to the top of this pyramid. And this is tackling the identity aspect, because a lot of us have the wounds of not feeling worthy of things, not feeling enough, perhaps feeling too much. So when you go to the root of it, I'm not sure if he was doing healing around that, but it's also staying in this frequency, right, of the new identity. It's both things. I would argue you cannot create a new life, a new identity, if you don't tackle what I call the healing aspect, the wounded aspects of your identity. And this is why inside my course we do what I call the excavation phase, because if you don't do the excavation phase, all of those visualizations and manifestations techniques and affirmations, they're not gonna land. At some point you're gonna feel like an imposter. But Michael Jackson, he didn't feel like an imposter because we can see that from the results, right? I think that was also because he was in his career since he was like, I think 9 or 6. So he knew, it was really ingrained in his subconscious mind that he's a performer, he's an artist, and a good one. So it's easier to go through, I'm an artist and a good one, to the best artist in the whole world than to, I was just a child, and you have those wounded beliefs, or you have other beliefs but not an artist, to becoming who you want to be in the next phase of your life. It's kind of easier in these terms. I'm not saying it was easy for him. He experienced a lot of public scrutiny and a lot of other things. He also had a challenging childhood. But what we can learn is that when you have these believe that you are meant to be this expert in your field, this new version of yourself, and you actually put the work in, you master your craft by taking aligned action, but at the same time working on this muscle of believing truly that you are that person. You are the best one in your craft. You are who you are always meant to be. And we can see that from the interviews, right? He would say things like, I am a gentleman. I am a perfectionist. Now, I'm not going to get into details around perfectionism because if you're high achieving, you get the point. It can be incredibly exhausting. But he would use intentional language around the things he would voice. Like, he wouldn't say anything unintentional. You can tell that his words were really intentional, as we all should be. When you learn that the subconscious mind absorbs everything over time through repetition, whatever you say to yourself, it becomes your reality. You are like, oh, whoa, I need to be careful. So that's a great lesson. And so whatever you want to affirm to yourself, keep repeating that, keep repeating that, keep repeating that until your body registers that as the truth. Again, because I always want to deliver grounded information here, you need to also tackle the wounds behind not believing that when you get to a point that that affirmation doesn't seem to be true. Because at some point you're gonna affirm for a few days, that's my experience, and then you're gonna be like, okay, that is not working. So there is something underlying that. And that's where the excavation phase comes in, because you can get to the root, not use any band-aid solutions. I'm so against band-aid solutions. They are not going to go to the root. You're going to repeat the same cycles in your life, and then you're not going to get the new life you always meant to have. And so that being said, he was walking the talk. He wasn't just affirming things that he wouldn't believe. He meant what he said. You can see, like, through the interviews, I can tell how kind and pure his heart was. You can tell from a person, from their energy. And at the same time, he would put the action in. He had insane work ethic. He said that himself, he was a perfectionist. I can tell from the interviews that he was a high achieving being, right? He wanted to do the best of the best, not just the best. So identity reconstruction is the base of building the new best next chapter of your life. And Michael knew that. Michael would put the action in, both in terms of taking action in his career, in terms of performance, and in terms of visualizing, affirming things, and walking the talk, speaking out his desires. And believing that, because if he didn't believe that, it wouldn't become a true. That's the most important thing, because that connects to all of those wounds if you have them, right? So that's why it became true for him, because he truly believed that. He had faith, and not only in himself. And I believe this is why he was so spiritual, because he knew he had God on his side. He knew, like, his talents were God-given, like all of our talents. Everybody's talents are God-given. And when you embody that your gifts are God-given, you want to pour good into the world. And so you know that it only gonna benefit everyone around you if you gonna become the best possible next version of yourself. So it's easier for you to achieve your fullest potential in this chapter of your life. Because this is a constant journey, and Michael knew that. Because if he didn't, he would stop creating music. He would stop performing. I know at some point there's an age factor and other things to that, but I'm just saying, you never want to stop fulfilling your potential. That never ends. It only ends if you exit this physical realm, if you exit life, if you die. And even then, if you leave behind your legacy, your consciousness, just like right now, what is happening with the Michael Jackson movie, what is happening with him influencing and inspiring people, inspiring all of us, again, to be the best possible versions of ourselves. Even then, like, you can come back, I don't know how many years, 17 years later, and you can work through your legacy and help other people. So wow, that's why I'm so obsessed with him right now. But let's get into the next lesson. Michael Jackson knew how to persevere his pure, innocent, childlike spirit. He knew that he had to protect children, he had to protect nature and animals. And through connecting all of that, he was consciously or unconsciously, we don't know, healing his inner child. Now, this is not the whole picture of healing our inner child, that's just one aspect, but he was actually embodying that. He was doing practices that his inner child would like to do. Of course, that's connected to the fact that he lost most of his childhood to performing, to his career. He was forced into that. And that was also his way of overcompensating for his lost childhood. He wanted to give to other children, to nature, to animals, the love that he didn't receive as a child. And that's deeply healing. That is something we all should do more often, like climbing trees, reading fairy tales, playing with children, being in nature, in the elements is something that I love too. Being with animals and nature, like I love the healing of being around that. And if you think about it, what do all of those things have in common? Purity, compassion, love, peace. And so he would go back to what he's emanating from his soul. This was also a reflection of him, right? He was receiving that, but at the same time, it was a pure reflection of who he was as a soul. And I don't believe, as you can tell, any of those allegations around children and him. Like, he was also found innocent. So you can tell from the interviews how genuine and how loving and pure his heart was. So the other thing about inner child healing practices that he did through him embodying his inner child and playing and running, climbing trees, is that this is also identity reconstruction. This is a big part actually of achieving your fullest potential, going back to your inner child and embodying its pure essence. We all come to this earth as this pure essence, and as adults, as we get into society, we get conditioned into roles, into expectations from family, society, teachers, anything. And so when we get back to that essence, we can also get back to our purpose in this life. This is why this is also identity reconstruction, because you get back in touch with that essence, which we all are. We are souls who came here. We are not humans. We are souls in a human form. That's what I believe. And when we forget that, we get too attached to material things. We get too attached to the things we want to achieve, the things we want to create. And this is not bad. We want to have a balance. I believe in balance. I believe the more spiritual you are, the more material you are, even though it might seem contradicting. When I say attached to material, I'm saying attached to fears, attached to limiting beliefs that are not true. And your pure essence, your inner child knows that you are made in the image of God. And your soul knows that. Your soul knows that you are worthy and enough as you are. And most of us, we're forgetting that when we are not getting in touch with our souls through our inner child. And so it seems like Michael Jackson knew something about that. Again, consciously or unconsciously, he was healing layers of conditioning, of expectations. He didn't care what the world would say, or it seemed so. He was again shining his light unapologetically. Even when people would spread rumors about it, he would sit down calmly, patiently, and he would explain his philosophy of life, his way of living, his way of seeing children as this pure essence, because of course it was reflecting back to him, because he was also pure essence most of the time. I'm getting emotional, guys. I'm telling you, I couldn't do this video the past few days because I was crying so much. And to this, I want to say that we all see parts of ourselves through the people we admire. And so I've been working through that on grieving versions of myself that I saw in Michael as well. And so if you've been going through the same, I invite you to sit with yourself, grieve what you see in him, and work through those wounds and allow yourself to be in that. Not like me right now, because I keep crying and speaking to you. So don't be like me right now. I'm gonna work through that later, don't worry. But yeah. And so he became the master of connecting to his inner child and not doubting it, suppressing it, ignoring it like most of us do. Maybe some parts of it he did, because we can see through his adult relationships that he had a lot of abandonment and mistrust and betrayal wounds, but that's a whole nother conversation. Nobody can heal all of the versions of their inner child in one sitting. You work through layers. And so he went against the norms. Most adults never reconnect with their inner child. They just put a facade. They don't create connections through their inner child, through their childlike essence, through this not childish but fun, loving, pure, even naive sometimes. That can be good and bad, but this curious state of being the inner child. And so through connecting with that, he healed, I would argue, a lot of aspects of his inner child. And this is the thing that most people will never tell you. You create your new life, your new identity, the creative project you always wanted to start, the new career, the new life, moving to a new city, the relationship you always wanted to have. You create that also by healing your inner child, because you are healing so many aspects of yourself, and so you are creating space for the new rebecoming to land somewhere, to land into your life, and to create, or rather recreate, your new next level. Also, through connecting to your inner child, all of the children are feminine beings. You connect back to your femininity. That's why he emanated this feminine energy, because he was most of the time in his inner child state, or he was in his feminine because he was in his inner child. Either way, he was in his state of receiving most of the time. I'm saying most of the time because nobody can only live from being in their feminine. We create things from doing too, so we need to be in our masculine too. Our masculine actually can be seen as a shield, as a structure, as a shell. We need that so we can protect our feminine essence. But my point is, he was so connected to his intuition through his femininity. And when you're connected to your intuition, you connect to God. And maybe that's why he downloaded so easily all of his work, because he was basically so in tune with God. And he would go act on that. He wouldn't just sit on that state. So he was in his masculine too, even though like his essence was mostly feminine. And I think this is why Michael Jackson consciousness came back through his movie right now, because we are heading into the new paradigm. Astrology, human design confirm this. You can look this up, it's really interesting. It's where we are going to use logic less and less, because we're gonna have AI and other technologies use that for us. So we have to rely on intuition. I believe that's why the Michael Jackson consciousness came back right now, so he can help us ascend quicker and faster, because the time is coming and we need to adjust into this higher consciousness. So our human race, slowly or I don't know, quickly, is gonna ascend into the next consciousness. We're gonna start relying on intuition. That means we're gonna be more connected to God. And that's gonna be really interesting to experience and see. Not that we are not gonna use our logic anymore at all. It's just that we will need to drop that, to drop the logic of being analytical and logistical and so structured. we will need to drop that and to tap into this higher consciousness, into our intuition, to connect more to God. That's going to be interesting and exciting. So let's see what the future holds. Next point, study the greats in your craft, or even if they are not related to your craft, study the greats. Michael Jackson, he was referring to Leonardo da Vinci, to Michelangelo. And so it was really clear to me that he studied them. He studied how they work within their craft. He knew their process, and he would apply and experiment with their process within his process. Because if you don't study the greats, you don't have any depth to you. He had so much depth to him. You could tell that he knows what he's doing, and he would constantly be in this pursuit of being better and better and better. Again, perfectionism. But if you want to become the best possible next version of yourself, you need to study other people. You need to study your craft in order to become the master of your craft. Whatever that is, it might not be even connected to Leonardo da Vinci or Michelangelo at all. But I truly believe that we can learn so much from somebody who have perfected their art. Learn their process, not just the output. A lot of people, especially in this day and age, they want quick results, quick dopamine hits, because this is what we learned from scrolling, from social media, from AI right now. But you cannot expect great results if you don't put great efforts into your craft. That's not gonna happen. Process takes time. And some people master their art through years, and some other people master their art through months. But it takes time. It's a process. You learn so much from that. You learn patience. You learn how to be more authentic within your own craft, because it's not about copy paste. It's not about pasting those people, those grades. It's about being inspired by them. It's about checking in with yourself and applying what resonates with you, being critical, right? And leaving the rest of it. Applying what resonates with your soul, with your authenticity, not just applying for the sake of applying. Because different things work for different people, right? We all share universal truths, but at the same time, we all have our unique gifts, God-given gifts to share with the world. So study the greats. They're gonna inspire you, they're gonna motivate you, they're gonna reveal to you patterns you identify or not. They're gonna reveal to you a lot of the keys of the processes. And again, it's up to your discretion what you're gonna use or not. Learn from them, see them as your mentors, and fulfill your vision through that. Next lesson from Michael Jackson is being generous. A lot of greats know that already. Only when you're being generous and you are giving, you can fulfill your mission. And that is based on the law of reciprocity. So the more you give, the more you receive. And Michael Jackson, it seemed like he knew that. I'm not saying he did that to get more things, but when you operate from a space of generosity and not from a space of getting a specific outcome, because a lot of us are doing things to get a specific outcome. We get trapped in this roller coaster of achieving and fulfilling the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. And a lot of people, this is why they feel numb and they feel like they have this void and this empty space within themselves, because they cannot give back to other people. They cannot trust through that. And Michael Jackson trusted that. He donated to so many hospitals. He were giving so much to children. He created Neverland. He did so many good things for the world. And so when you give, you are able to receive. When you give to the world, you are receiving at the same time. Regardless of the outcome, if you're gonna get back from them, you are already getting back the moment you give, because you're giving this energy and you are receiving. There's this energy of fulfillment when you give to other people, of compassion, of kindness, of feeling like you are able to give, you are able to contribute to the society as a whole. And that makes you a better person fundamentally. And so only when you are generous, you are able to fulfill your mission. If you think about it, again, we all came here with our God-given gifts. We all came here to help humanity ascend to the next level, to help each other, to receive and give. We came all here to help in some sort of way each other. And a lot of people forget about that. You give through your craft, you give through being you give through shining your light with the world, through your uniqueness, through your weirdness. You give through that, because when you allow the world to see your light, you're inspiring other people. You are motivating other people, so you give to others. It's your responsibility to find your unique gifts and allow yourself to shine your light. Allow yourself to be in a space in which you allow yourself to be seen and recognized for your unique gifts. And give from that space, give from a full cup. I think it also states that in the Bible, give and you shall receive. So give to the world. Don't hold back. Give your light, give your true essence, give your gifts. Of course, we have to have boundaries. We have to give from a full cup, not forgetting ourselves, but be generous. Don't forget that along the way. Michael Jackson was perfect in reminding us that even when he became a global superstar, the king of the pop, he never forgot to give back. He never forgot to give to the charities, to organizations, to hospitals. He kept giving, even from this space. Of course, he gave the gifts to us. But when you are in doubt of yourself, remind yourself, if Michael Jackson didn't shine his light, his talents, his gifts of music, of performance with the world, how would you feel about that? Would the world be a better place? Because I don't think so. The world is a better place because you shine your light in it. The world is a better place when you give generously your gifts, when you share your God-given gifts with it. My last lesson from Michael Jackson is be weird. Be weird. Be your authentic self. Be your most truest, unapologetic expression, and allow yourself to shine through that. Because this is the way to become the next version of yourself. This is the way to be who you are always meant to be. A lot of people are scared of showing and expressing their weirdness. And Michael Jackson, he became a master in shining his weirdness, in being unapologetically himself. And through that, you can tell how authentic he is. And through that, through you allowing yourself to be authentic, to be who you always meant to be, you are allowing yourself at the same time to fulfill your mission, your God-given mission. Because let's not forget, I know I said that so many times all throughout this video, that this is something God gave you, and He trusted you with that. He trusted that you gonna use that for the good. You're gonna use that to help. You're gonna use that to shine your light, to bring and give to the society and become a better person. Because let's be real, when you start that creative project you always wanted, when you quit your 9 to 5, when you get the house of your dreams, when you actually pursue the career you always wanted, at the same time you're fulfilling your God-given mission for this world. And one thing is sure, your God-given mission is not arrogant, is not self-centered, is around giving to the world, is around being of service in whichever unique way that shows up for you. That goes back to connecting to your inner child, because children are not afraid of being judged. They are expressing fully their essence and who they truly are with the world. They don't care if you like them or not. They don't care about the consequences of being their true selves until they learn from adults in the world, but that's a whole nother conversation. But being your most authentic self is gonna serve everybody, not just yourself. So again, it is your responsibility to put in action your God-given gifts and express that through your uniqueness, through your weirdness. That is all for today. I hope you enjoyed that. Let me know in the comments what are some lessons you learned from Michael Jackson, if you saw the movie, if you're about to see it. If you're a super fan, let us know of any of his unique gifts, anything that we might not know yet. Let us know in the comments which of those 5 lessons of Michael Jackson is calling to you right now. I would love to know. Thank you so much for being here, for watching this video, and I will see you next week. Bye.